The sun had barely crested the horizon, and the savannah was bathed in a soft, golden glow, like molten honey spilling over the tall grasses. Each blade shimmered with the morning dew, trembling in the gentle breeze, and the air smelled faintly of earth and dry grass, tinged with the salt of a distant waterhole. Birds flitted from acacia tree to acacia tree, their small, nervous chirps punctuating the vast silence. Somewhere, a hornbill lifted its wings with a loud, clumsy flap, sending a shadow across the sunlit ground. But it was the baby giraffe who drew the eye. Its coat, speckled with warm brown patches, almost glowed in the rising sun, and its long, spindly legs trembled slightly with each uncertain step. The world felt enormous to the tiny creature, every rustle in the grass a mystery, every wind gust a whisper from the unknown. The giraffe bent its neck low to nibble at the tender shoots growing near a lone acacia, savoring the early morning sweetness. Its large eyes blinked slowly, unafraid, filled with a gentle curiosity. Around it, life moved with a quiet rhythm. A meerkat popped its head from a burrow, sniffing the air before retreating again, and a family of warthogs snuffled along the soil, their small tails flicking nervously at shadows. Yet, despite the calm, a subtle tension threaded the scene. Almost invisible, but present to any creature attuned to the savannah's language. The distant rumble of a lion's roar rolled over the plains, faint but unmistakable, like the warning growl of a storm at the horizon. The baby giraffe paused mid-step, ears twitching as if trying to place the sound. But it quickly returned to its grazing, unaware of the danger, creeping closer, not far away. A herd of elephants moved with slow, deliberate grace. Dust rose from their immense feet, catching the sunlight in golden plumes that drifted lazily across the ground. The matriarch, enormous and steady, led the group with a calm authority, her trunk curling around a branch now and then to pull down a leaf or shake loose a clump of grass. Her younger companions followed, rolling their trunks through the dust, their occasional trumpeting punctuating the early morning stillness. The elephant's presence added a sense of ancient stability to the plains, as if the earth itself had drawn a protective circle around this corner of the world. Yet even their watchful eyes, scanning the horizon for signs of danger, could not entirely reach the small giraffe. Wandering a little farther from the acacia grove than safety allowed, a gentle breeze stirred, lifting the faint scent of dust and dry leaves. The baby giraffe's long neck swayed with emotion, its small nostrils flaring as it sniffed the air, sensing both the sweetness of morning and the tension hidden within it. Every creature has its way of reading the savannah and the young giraffe. Naive to the patterns of predators, only understood that the world was wide and full of wonder. Its eyes widened with fascination as it noticed a group of butterflies flitting through the shafts of light, their wings shimmering like liquid color. It stepped closer, reaching out with an awkward, loping gait, each hoof sinking softly into the warm, dusty earth. There was something delicate about the scene, a fleeting perfection that might vanish at any moment. The stillness was suddenly broken by a rustle in the grass, subtle at first, then louder. The tall stems bent and cracked under the weight of unseen movement. Birds erupted into the air in startled flocks, their wings beating frantically against the sky, while small mammals vanished into burrows and crevices. The baby giraffe froze, its long ears pivoting toward the sound. A low, threatening growl, barely more than a whisper, rolled across the plains, threading tension into the morning calm. Its legs stiffened. Instinct whispered a warning that its mind did not yet comprehend. Yet it remained rooted to the spot, torn between curiosity and fear. Caught in that delicate balance between innocence and the harsh lessons of survival, the elephants, sensing the change in the air, slowed their movements, trunks lifted, nostrils flaring as they drew in the scent of the approaching danger. The matriarch's eyes narrowed, scanning the horizon where the grass bent unnaturally, and her body stiffened with alertness. Somewhere within that swaying sea of golden blades, a predator waited, patient and unseen, drawn to the vulnerable smallness of the giraffe. The savannah seemed to hold its breath, the warm morning sun suspended in time, as if even the wind had paused to watch the unfolding scene, despite the rising unease. The baby giraffe took another hesitant step forward. A branch cracked underfoot, sending a small flock of finches into panicked flight. The giraffe's legs trembled again, and its neck arched higher, eyes scanning the trees and the distant hills. It was still too young to understand the weight of danger, too innocent to realize that the gentle rhythm of the morning was a fragile illusion. Its curiosity outweighed its caution, drawing it closer to the edge of the grove, where shadows stretched like fingers across the earth. The first sunbeams had fully climbed above the horizon now, painting the sky in soft pinks and pale blues, and the savannah's vastness seemed endless. Every rustle, every distant roar, every fleeting shadow became a thread in the growing tension, threading unease into the morning calm. And yet, there was a fragile beauty in the scene, the soft glint of dew, the sway of the grass, the quiet hum of life that made the risk seem almost poetic, almost part of a natural rhythm beyond human comprehension. In that moment, the baby giraffe represented both the wonder and the vulnerability of the wild, tiny and unsteady, yet alive with curiosity and potential. Caught between safety and the unknown that waited just beyond sight as the scene held. The elephant's shadow stretched long across the plains, linking the tiny giraffe to the ancient guardians of the savannah. The distant growls continued, low and measured. Reminders that the calm was only a temporary veil over the ever-present threat. The baby giraffe twitched its ears again, sniffing the air, stepping carefully but unconsciously toward danger. And in that quiet tension, the morning sang with life, beautiful, fragile, and unforgiving all at once. The camera of imagination might linger on the baby giraffe's large, innocent eyes shimmering in the soft sunlight, reflecting a world far larger and more complex than it could yet understand. A breeze stirred the leaves above, carrying with it the faint scent of wildflowers, dust, and distant predators. Life on the savannah continued in its endless rhythm, yet something had shifted. The day that began in gentle wonder now carried the first tremors of peril, whispering of a challenge that would test courage, instinct, and compassion in ways no small creature could foresee. And so, beneath the warmth of the morning sun, the baby giraffe stepped a little closer to the unknown, its fragile body poised at the edge of innocence and danger. The first chapter of survival, quietly unfolding around it. Chapter 2, the quiet of the golden savannah, shattered in an instant. A low growl rumbled through the tall grasses, rolling across the plains like distant thunder, and then, as if the earth itself had cracked, a pride of lions burst into view. Dust rose in thick swirling clouds around their powerful paws, catching the morning light in a haze of gold and amber. The baby giraffe froze, its long legs trembling, eyes wide and unblinking. Every instinct screamed to run, but terror had routed it to the spot. The elegance of its movements replaced by a raw, desperate panic. Its small heart hammered so fast it seemed to echo in the silent distance. The roar of the predators vibrating in its chest. The lions spread into a circle, each one moving with deliberate, terrifying precision. Their muscles rippled under tawny fur, each step measured, silent, but filled with deadly intent. The leader, a male with a thick golden mane that caught the sun like fire, crouched low, eyes locked on the trembling giraffe. His growl deepened, vibrating in the air, a sound that made the grass seem to quiver. The baby giraffe's knees buckled, and it stumbled backward, knocking over a small shrub in its panicked retreat. The world had shrunk to the sharp scent of predators, the roar of the wind in its ears, and the echo of its own frantic breaths. From the distance, a sound cut through the chaos, a deep, resonant trumpet calling out over the plains. The elephants had sensed the danger. Dust swirled around their enormous feet as the matriarch raised her massive head, ears flaring wide, nostrils drawing in the scent of predators and prey alike. Her eyes, sharp and intelligent, locked on the baby giraffe. Seeing the helplessness that no human could intervene fast enough to prevent, every fiber of her body tensed, a coiled force ready to unleash itself. And with a single, determined step, she began her charge. The baby giraffe wobbled, barely able to comprehend the sudden movement. It took a tentative step backward, then froze again as the lions closed in. One male lunged forward, claws digging into the earth, teeth bared in a silent promise of pain. The giraffe's small hooves slipped on the dry soil, kicking up clouds of dust that blurred the view. Fear and confusion mingled in its wide eyes, the young creature completely at the mercy of the predator's speed and cunning. Each heartbeat felt impossibly loud, the rhythm of life and death pulsing through the savannah itself. Then, the ground seemed to shake. The matriarch elephant swung into view, trunk lifted and ears flared like enormous sails catching a storm. She moved with purposeful fury, a force of nature incarnate. Dust billowed behind her massive feet as she thundered across the plains. Each step a drumbeat of power. The lions hesitated, golden eyes narrowing at this sudden, impossibly large threat. She swung her trunk in a wide arc, scattering dust and leaves, sending one of the younger lions skidding across the dirt. The ground trembled beneath her charge, a thunder that seemed to echo from the hills themselves. The baby giraffe, seeing the elephant's approach, took a trembling step sideways. Hope flickered like a fragile flame. It understood, in some instinctive way, that this enormous creature had come to shield it. The lions hesitated, growls now mixed with caution, their confidence shaken by the sudden appearance of raw, overwhelming strength. Yet their hunger was fierce, and one lion lunged again, jaws snapping mere inches from the giraffe's long neck. The baby stumbled forward, ears pressed flat against its head, heart hammering. The morning sun, now a harsh glare on the dust-filled battlefield. The matriarch elephant responded with a swing of her trunk that sent the attacking lion tumbling backward, claws scratching the earth. She stomped with such force that the ground itself seemed to rise in protest. Her eyes, dark and intelligent, never left the giraffe, and for a brief moment, the two creatures shared a silent understanding, one fragile, young, and terrified, the other immense, fearless, and determined to protect. Around them, the dust continued to swirl, making the air thick and almost suffocating. The lions snarled, circling, trying to find another angle. But every time they moved closer, the elephant blocked their path with the effortless authority of a guardian who had learned the ways of the plains over decades. The baby giraffe's legs shook as it attempted a staggered step forward. Following the elephant's lead, it stumbled again, claws raking the earth as one of the smaller lions lunged past the matriarch, only to be met with the swing of a powerful trunk. The sounds of growls, trumpets, and dust-filled impacts collided in a symphony of life and survival. Each moment stretched into eternity as predator and protector measured their wills against each other. The giraffe's breath came in shallow, ragged gasps, yet with every passing second, courage, or perhaps relief, began to seep into its trembling body. For a few moments, it seemed as though time itself had slowed. The lions circled more cautiously now, recognizing that their usual tactics were useless against the immense, determined elephant. The matriarch lowered her head, tusks glinting in the sunlight. Each movement precise and deliberate, a masterful display of instinct and intelligence. The baby giraffe's eyes widened as it realized that the immediate threat was being held at bay. Though the danger had not vanished entirely, dust hung like a golden haze over the battlefield, and for a heartbeat, the plains felt suspended between chaos and calm. Then, with one final earth-shaking trumpet, the elephant surged forward, her weight and presence forcing the lions to retreat one by one. The dust clouds rose high, golden, and swirling, obscuring the retreating predators until they melted into the horizon. The baby giraffe collapsed to its knees, trembling but alive, ears twitching as it processed the sudden, almost magical intervention. The matriarch approached slowly, trunk sweeping gently across the giraffe's back in a gesture of reassurance, a reminder that it was safe for now. Silence returned to the plains, thick and heavy, punctuated only by the shallow, uneven breaths of the baby giraffe and the matriarch's deep, steady exhalations. The sun continued to rise, burning through the dust, illuminating the savannah in golden light once more. Shadows of the elephants stretched across the grass, linking them to the fragile young creature they had saved. The baby giraffe looked up, eyes wide, nostrils flaring, taking in the immense form of its savior. In that shared, quiet moment, fear and relief blended into a fragile, almost sacred understanding. The world was cruel, but courage and compassion could still shine through. The plains returned to their rhythm slowly, birds hesitantly landing back in the trees, and the wind whispered softly through the grass. The lions were gone, yet the memory of their threat lingered, etched into every trembling muscle of the baby giraffe. For the first time, it understood a truth deeper than innocence alone. The wild was not just a place of beauty, but a place of danger, of courage, and of unlikely guardianship. And in the distance, the elephant stood like a mountain of resolve. a living testament to the power of protection and the courage that can rise in the face of fear. The baby giraffe shook itself, ears twitching, and took a tentative step forward, following the elephant as it slowly led the way back toward the grove of acacia trees. Dust settled around them, the sun glinting off golden fur and massive gray skin alike, and a quiet calm returned to the plains. The air was still thick with tension, but the immediate terror had passed, leaving only the fragile, precious pulse of survival, the heartbeat of life on the savannah. The savannah seemed to exhale. Dust hung in the air, swirling in lazy spirals around the long, fragile legs of the baby giraffe, and the golden sun cut through the haze like a promise. The lions had retreated, their growls fading into the distance, leaving only the quiet hum of life returning to the plains. The baby giraffe's knees wobbled as it took hesitant steps forward, its wide eyes flicking nervously over the empty space where danger had just roared. Every muscle in its small body trembled, yet the relief of survival poured through it like a soft, warming light. Leaning against the massive side of the elephant, it felt the steady rhythm of the giant's breathing and a sense of safety that no predator could touch. The matriarch elephant lowered her head, trunk curling gently around the giraffe in a subtle, protective embrace. There was no sound, no need for words. Her presence alone was a message of calm and strength. The baby giraffe pressed closer, its long neck brushing against the elephant's rough, gray skin, absorbing the warmth and solidity beneath its trembling frame. Around them, the plains slowly returned to normal. Birds cautiously returned to the trees, their chirps softer now, more tentative than before, and the small mammals that had scuttled for cover began to re-emerge, sniffing the air and twirling their tiny bodies in cautious celebration of survival. A gentle breeze stirred the golden grass, lifting the dust and carrying with it the faint scent of acacia and dry earth. The elephant's ears flapped lazily, catching the wind, and her eyes scanned the horizon with quiet vigilance, still aware of the lingering threat that life on the savannah always carried. The baby giraffe's eyes followed her movements, blinking slowly, learning in that instant that courage could take many forms. It could be the strength of tusks and legs, the weight of presence, the unwavering focus of one who has lived and survived. A subtle bond had formed in the chaos of the morning, unspoken but undeniable, connecting the smallest creature to the largest guardian. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the plains, the memory of the lion's attack lingered in the baby giraffe's mind like a distant echo. Its breathing had slowed, but the fear still tingled in every nerve. The ground, once threatening and alive with danger, now felt safe beneath its hooves, but the lesson of vulnerability had been etched deep. For the first time, the giraffe understood the fragile balance between curiosity and caution, wonder and fear. Life in the wild was beautiful, but it was never without risk. And yet, in the shadow of the elephant's protection, the vulnerability felt less terrifying, almost sacred, as if survival itself had been handed back with care. The elephants moved as a group, the younger members following the matriarch's lead, their massive feet stirring small clouds of dust that glinted in the morning sun. The baby giraffe walked beside them, hesitant at first, then with growing confidence, matching their slow, deliberate rhythm. Its small steps were uneven, awkward, but purposeful, and each one was a triumph. The plains stretched endlessly, golden and unyielding. Yet the presence of the elephant made the vast world feel navigable, safe, and alive with possibility. The calm had returned, but the memory of danger lingered in the dust that clung to the baby giraffe's fur and the faint tremor that still ran through its long legs. For a long moment, the two creatures paused together beneath the shade of a solitary acacia. Sunlight spilled through the branches, flickering across the elephant's rough skin and the giraffe's delicate spots. The wind whispered through the leaves, carrying soft scents of grass and distant water, and time seemed to slow. The matriarch lowered her trunk again, brushing gently against the giraffe, a gesture of reassurance and compassion. The giraffe's eyes, wide and glistening, met the elephant's deep, intelligent gaze. In that quiet connection, a conversation without words unfolded, one of trust, of gratitude, and of the profound relief that comes from being seen and protected when the world turns violent. The plains around them returned to their natural rhythm. A herd of zebras grazed at a distance, their stripes moving in waves, oblivious to the earlier chaos. Birds sang softly, their melodies lighter, almost celebratory. And the distant hills stood like silent sentinels, untouched by fear. The baby giraffe's ears twitched at the sound of the wind and the soft brush of leaves against the earth. Each breath it took was slower, deeper, more assured. Survival had been won not by strength alone, but by courage, instinct, and the extraordinary act of protection from an unlikely ally as the sun climbed higher into the sky. The baby giraffe finally took a step forward, away from the shadow of the elephant, then another, testing its balance. Discovering the strength it had gained from the morning's ordeal, the elephant stayed close, her presence constant but unobtrusive, a living monument to the quiet heroism of the wild. For a brief moment, the plains seemed to stretch into infinity, golden and peaceful. The lingering tension melting into the rhythm of life, continuing unabated. The baby giraffe's eyes sparkled with a mixture of awe, relief, and the dawning understanding that bravery and kindness could exist even in a world shaped by survival and danger. A soft gust of wind stirred the grass, lifting dust and tiny petals into the sunlight, and the baby giraffe paused to watch them swirl. The elephant flared her ears lazily, almost in agreement, and for the first time, the two creatures seemed to breathe together, synchronized in the calm that had replaced chaos. The lesson of the morning, that life was precious, fragile, and worth protecting, settled into the quiet between breaths. The savannah itself seemed to hold its silence, as if respecting the moment, honoring the unspoken bond between guardian and vulnerable. The baby giraffe nuzzled the elephant's side one last time, a gesture of gratitude and trust, before stepping lightly toward the grove of acacia trees that promised shade, food, and gentle comfort. The elephant followed slowly, eyes scanning the horizon, ready to act again if danger arose, yet allowing the small giraffe its own steps toward independence. Shadows stretched across the plains, long and serene, echoing the forms of the two creatures in a tableau of survival and empathy. The world had been cruel, but in that fleeting morning, it had also been tender, generous, and full of the quiet poetry of life. The plains were still, dust settling like a soft golden fog, the distant hills standing serene under the warming sun. The baby giraffe paused again, turning its head to look back at the elephant, who now stood with steady, unyielding patience. In the unspoken connection between them, there was a lesson. As old and profound as the savannah itself, courage is not always loud, protection is not always seen, and the wild can teach compassion as vividly as it can teach fear. The baby giraffe stepped forward once more, confidence growing with each careful stride, and the elephant lingered a silent sentinel against the horizon. Watching over a life reborn from terror into hope, the sun continued its climb, bathing the plains in golden light, illuminating every blade of grass, every dust mote, every trembling leg of a small creature that had survived a morning that could have ended in tragedy. The savannah returned to its eternal rhythm, soft rustles, distant calls, and the hum of life, but the memory of bravery, trust, and compassion lingered, invisible yet palpable. And there, beneath the stretching shadows and the quiet sweep of the wind, a baby giraffe walked forward, alive, protected, and forever changed by the gentle giant who had stood between it and the hunger of the wild.